How healthy is your business right now? Not how healthy does it feel? Not how healthy do you hope it is? How healthy is it, actually, based on data you looked at this week? If you hesitated on that, you are not alone, and I am not judging you. But I do want you to sit with the fact that most business owners are making daily decisions about their company without looking at a single meaningful number on a regular basis. They check their bank account, they check their inbox, and they call that awareness. That is not awareness. That is anxiety with a login. Today, we are talking about the 5 metrics every business owner should be checking every single Monday. Not monthly, not quarterly, weekly. Because the businesses that win are not the ones working the hardest. They are the ones who see the clearest. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, if you are building a business, running a team, or trying to stop guessing and start operating with real clarity, hit subscribe. This show is not hype. It is not theory. It is operator thinking, how businesses actually run when the cameras are off. Welcome to Notebook of a COO. I want to set the stage here. There is a massive gap in the business education space right now, and it is this. Almost every creator, coach, and influencer in the entrepreneur world talks about mindset. They talk about vision. They talk about hustle, about identity, about belief. And look, I am not dismissing any of that. Mindset matters. It does. But you know what else matters? Knowing your numbers. And almost nobody is teaching that. Because numbers are not sexy. Metrics do not go viral. Dashboards do not make people feel inspired on a Tuesday morning. But here's what they do. They tell you the truth. And in business, the truth is the most valuable thing you can have. So today, I'm giving you a framework. 5 numbers, checked once a week, every Monday. No complicated tools, no MBA required. Just 5 data points that once you start tracking them will change the way you see and run your business. Here's what I see constantly. An operator has a great month. Revenue is up. They feel good. They spend a little more, maybe hire someone, maybe launch a new offer. Everything feels like momentum. Then 2 months later, cash is tight. Clients are churning. The team is stretched. And they are sitting there going, what happened? We were doing so well. And the answer is almost always the same. You were not tracking the right things. You were tracking feelings. You were tracking your bank balance. And those 2 things will lie to you every single time. A big deposit does not mean a healthy business. A full calendar does not mean a profitable one. And revenue going up does not mean you are actually keeping any of it. Most operators are flying blind. And the cruel part is they do not even know it until something breaks. Drop a comment right now if you have ever had a month that felt great and then realized weeks later that the wheels were coming off behind the scenes. Because that feeling is exactly what we are fixing today. The issue is not that you are bad at business. The issue is that you do not have an early warning system. You are driving at night with the headlights off, and you only find out about the problem when you hit it. So let's turn the lights on. The 5 Monday metrics, your weekly business health check. Here's how I think about this. Every Monday morning, before you open your inbox, before you respond to a single Slack message, before you touch anything reactive, you check 5 numbers. That is it. 5. Takes 15 minutes once you set it up, and those 15 minutes will save you from months of pain. Let's walk through them. Metric 1. Cash collected last week, not revenue booked, not invoices sent. Cash that actually hit your account. This is the first number because it is the most honest one. Revenue is a promise. Cash is reality. You can have a 6-figure month on paper and still not be able to make payroll if the cash has not come in yet. Every Monday, look at what actually came in during the previous 7 days. Not what you are owed. Not what is pending. What landed. This number tells you whether your business is actually generating liquidity or just generating the appearance of it. And here is the operator insight. If this number is consistently lower than your revenue, you have a collections problem. That is a systems fix, not a sales fix. Big difference. Metric 2. New leads or inquiries generated. This one is about your pipeline. How many new potential customers entered your world in the last 7 days? Not followers, not impressions. Leads. People who raised their hand and said, I am interested. That could be a form fill, a DM, an email, a phone call, a booking, whatever your entry point is. The reason this matters on a weekly basis is simple. Leads are a leading indicator. Revenue is a lagging indicator. By the time revenue drops, your lead problem started weeks or even months ago. If you only check revenue, you are always reacting. If you check leads weekly, you are anticipating. And anticipation is where operators live. If this number starts dipping 2 weeks in a row, you do not wait. You diagnose. Is it a content problem, a referral slowdown, a seasonal pattern? You can only ask those questions if you are watching the number consistently. Metric 3, conversion rate, leads to customers. This is where most business owners completely fall off. They know how many clients they have. They have some sense of how many leads they are getting, but almost nobody is tracking the conversion rate between those two things. And that number tells you everything. If you are getting 100 leads a month and closing 5 of them, that is a 5% conversion rate. Is that good? Depends on your industry. But the point is not the benchmark. The point is the trend. Are you improving or declining? Are certain weeks better than others? Did something you changed in your sales process actually move the needle, or did it just feel like it did? Drop a comment if you are being honest with yourself right now and you do not actually know your conversion rate. No judgment. Most operators do not, but that changes this week. This metric is the bridge between your marketing and your revenue. Without it, you are just guessing which side of the equation needs work. Metric 4, client fulfillment health. This one does not always live in a spreadsheet, but it needs to live somewhere. Every Monday, you should have a clear picture of how your current clients are doing. Are deliverables on schedule? Are there any at-risk accounts? Is your team hitting the quality bar, or are things starting to slip? The reason I include this as a core metric is because most operators are so focused on getting new business that they forget to protect the business they already have. Retention is cheaper than acquisition, always. And a client who leaves because the experience degraded is a client who is not coming back and who is going to tell other people about it. The simplest version of this metric is a traffic light system. Green means everything is on track. Yellow means something needs attention. Red means there is a problem that needs to be solved this week. Go through your active clients every Monday and assign a color. That is it. That exercise alone will surface problems you would have otherwise missed until it was too late. Metric 5, owner capacity. This is the one nobody talks about, and it might be the most important one on this list. Every Monday, you need to check in on yourself. How many hours did you work last week? How many of those were reactive versus intentional? Are you spending time on the business or just in it? Because here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. If the owner is running on empty, the business is running on borrowed time. Your energy is not infinite. Your focus is not unlimited. And if you are spending 90% of your week fighting fires and answering emails, you are not leading. You are surviving. This metric is not vanity. It is an operational indicator. When owner capacity drops below a certain threshold for too many consecutive weeks, everything else on this list starts declining. Leads slip because nobody is watching the funnel. Fulfillment degrades because nobody is managing quality. Cash gets messy because nobody is reviewing the numbers. You are the operating system. If the operating system is overloaded, nothing else runs well. So check it, honestly, every Monday. And when the number tells you something uncomfortable, listen to it. Here is your action step, and I want this done before Friday. Open a spreadsheet, or a notebook, or a doc on your phone. Whatever works for you. It does not have to be fancy. Write down 5 columns: cash collected, new leads, conversion rate, fulfillment health, owner capacity. Fill in last week's numbers as best you can. Even if the data is rough, even if you are estimating, then do it again next Monday and the Monday after that. Within 3 weeks, you will start seeing patterns you have never seen before. You will start catching problems before they become crises. You will start making decisions based on what is actually happening instead of what you think is happening. And that is the shift. That is when you stop being a busy business owner and start being an operator. Because operators do not guess, they measure. and then they act. And if you want a structured framework for building this into your business, along with the assessments, templates, and systems to actually implement it, that is exactly what we built the Operator Hub for. The link is in the description. If this episode gave you something you needed to hear, share it with one operator in your network who is still making decisions in the dark. Because the fastest way to change someone's business is to change what they are looking at. And if you are watching this thinking, I do not even know where to find half these numbers, that is okay. That is actually the whole point. You now know what to look for, and knowing what to look for is step one. Subscribe if you have not. Drop a comment with the one metric from today's list that you know you have been ignoring. I read every single one. We are building operators here, not just entrepreneurs. There is a difference. Wherever you are, that is exactly where you are supposed to be. But that does not mean you have to stay there. Until next time.